What's poppin', Worcester, Mass? Today is Wednesday, July 6th. Thank you for tuning in, logging on. Welcome to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock shadow. If you're not familiar, then please get familiar. It's your co-host, Truth It, aka Will of God, and we are here again. I very much recently used to be big on talking about racism, how, oh, this is racist, that's racist, and racist. And I kind of felt like, okay, maybe I go too hard on it. I'll turn people away. Not only from doing a show, but from church. You know, I preach. And, you don't want to do that. You don't want to turn people off. So you try not to go too hard on it. I try to talk about different things. I try to avoid it. But then some things happen like today. Things happen like they are happening now. And I don't really know how to handle it. I don't really know how to react. I read my Bible today, so that's like helping me keep sane. You know, so I want to make a suggestion. There's a reason why a lot of prisoners, when they go to jail, they turn to God. And one of the main reasons is because when you're in prison, you're like a caged animal. And I don't even want to get into whether they deserved it or not, or jail or whatever. But you need the Bible to keep you sane. You need the Bible as a source of your peace. And that's just the way it is. You need it. So I went to the Bible today and I was reading it, and sure enough, it helped me through today. You know, things got a little bit tense at work or whatever, and but we're just gonna get into it. So in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right now, there is not a riot, but a protest going on due to Alton Sterling, 37-year-old father, husband. He was shot to death outside of a store where he was allegedly selling CDs. According to multiple sources, no one had a problem with him selling CDs, but someone did call the police. Why? I don't know. There's still an investigation on it. Who knows? Even if he was being a disturbance. So let's, for the sake of argument, say he was being a disturbance, which he was not. Alton Sterling, 37, was confronted by police on Tuesday after an anonymous caller said he had threatened someone with a gun outside the store where he was selling homemade CDs. In a cell phone video taken by a community activist and posted online, the two officers pinned Sterling to the ground. Someone yelled he got a gun, and then gunfire erupted moments later. So here's what happened. In the video, it starts off with, I thought it was Bill Goldberg, because the way he ran at Austin, the way the officer ran at Austin Sterling and took him down, it looked like Goldberg doing a spear. It's like a football move when you take someone down. So he did that. He tackled Alton Sterling to the ground, and I said Austin because I'm thinking about wrestling. But he tackled him to the ground, right? So he's on top of him, and then another officer comes out of nowhere, and he's on top of him too. So they're trying to stretch his arms out. They're trying to roll him over. Alton, he's saying something. You can't really catch what he's saying, but they're telling him to turn around, get down. I don't know. It's almost like it feels like they were playing Simon Says, because they were like giving him like 8 different orders. Turn around, sit up, stand up, 1 foot up, 1 hand down. So you didn't know what he was saying. You didn't know what he was really supposed to do. But either way, I would say it looked like he was resisting. Okay, so it looked like he could have been resisting. So what happens? They have his arms stretched out. Like literally, one arm is stretched out all the way to the left, and you can see the other officer pinning down his other arm. And they're yelling and they're cursing at him. And then you hear, gun, he's got a gun, right? So while he yells he has a gun, the officer that was second to try to apprehend him put his knee on his arm, sat up straight in a kneeling position, pulled his gun out and pointed at him, said, "I swear to effing God," while he was pinned to the ground. He wasn't moving at that point. Then all of a sudden you hear 2 shots or 3, and then the camera, of course, the person who's recording it with their cell phone video, like once you hear shots, you go down. So the camera goes black because they're ducking inside of their car. But you hear at least 4 to 5 more shots after that. Now remember, he was point blank with the man. You know what makes me laugh about stories when they try to report professionally on them? They say an autopsy shows that he was killed by 3 or 4 gunshot wounds to the back and to the chest. Like, duh. Man, I thought he would have died of pneumonia. Of course he died from the gunshots. He got shot 6 or 7 times. So he's laying there. He gets shot 6 or 7 times. And now you say, oh, good. Hey, you know what? This happened. It's a bad incident. But we have the body cameras now. So the officers, they can explain what happened because we have body cameras and we can see it. Oh, no. Guess what happened? Due to the ensuing tussle or altercation, both officers' body cameras were broken. Ain't that convenient? Both of their body cameras were destroyed.
I swear to effing God.
No, I didn't say I swear to effing God. No, absolutely not.
Yes, you did. I'm listening.
No, I said... no. I said... Caller, I know what I said. I specifically said, the officer said, I swear to effing God, don't move. And that's what the officer said to him. I didn't use the curse word.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you... I thought you were saying that.
No, I didn't say I swear to effing God. I said the officer, that's what he said before he shot him 6 times, 6 or more times. So he said, I swear to effing God, don't move. Okay, and then he shot.
I just have one question.
Yep.
When they got the call, did somebody call and say this guy had a gun?
Yes. Yes, someone had called and said that the man threatened that he was going to shoot someone else. So allegedly, thank you, Texter. Shout outs to Janine. They murdered that man. Bottom line, facts. The call that got to the police were that he threatened to shoot somebody, and that's it. So when the police got there, allegedly, because we don't know what happened before, they confronted him. But what I saw was them shoulder tackle him, taking him down like he was sacking a quarterback, and they had his arm stretched out. So none of that really matters. He could have said he had a bomb on him. After they tackled him and had him on the ground and his arms stretched out, he should not have been shot.
Okay, I just don't want these things to overtake you.
Yep.
Maybe I should talk to you later.
I appreciate that, caller, and I have been reading the Bible and trying to stay calm and not let it get to me, but this does get a little annoying. You can understand that. So just remember what time we're living in. Right, facts. I will.
We're living in, and what we have to look forward to.
All right, appreciate the call, caller.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
So, we have to look at, so, what's more difficult about this story, and I'm going to get into it more about Alton Sterling, but what's difficult about this for me is someone else I was talking to earlier today, they said that we have to exercise caution and patience and wisdom and calm. And you know what? Honestly, they're right, right? We do have to exercise patience and calm and wisdom and all that. But when you tell that to me once, right? The first guy that got shot on camera, it's like, okay, we all must exercise, err with the side of caution. There's no point of losing it. Then fine, you say it makes sense to the first time. The second time we see someone get shot and you say the same thing, all right, fine, you know, maybe we should calm down. After the fourth, fifth, and sixth time, then it starts to be like, okay, listen, us being calm ain't changing the fact that we're still getting shot and left in the streets. So I do say err on the side of caution, and I definitely say don't do it. You going to jail or you getting killed by a police officer is not going to help any movement, is not going to help anything get better for anybody. But at the same time, somebody's going to have to start doing something else. And let me be clear. I will be extremely beyond frustrated if these two officers just get suspended with pay or fired. You don't get fired for killing another person. I don't care if that's your job description. You do not get fired for murdering someone. You get fired for stealing money out of the cash register at your job. You get fired for shoplifting. You get fired for arguing with the boss or being late too many times. You don't get fired for shooting or killing someone on the job. You go to jail. And that better happen to these officers. And you want to know what makes it even more frustrating? Is because Freddie Gray, somehow from going into police custody, getting put into the back of the van, to getting to jail, ended up with a severed neck and killed, and nobody was held responsible for it. It just magically happened. That's basically what our justice system is telling us. Oh, Freddie Gray, that was magic that killed him. I know, what's his name, Jason Williams, whatever his name is, the light-skinned dude from Grey's Anatomy. I know he said we're magic, but we ain't that much magic. We ain't that magical. So yes, they did. They murdered him in cold blood. You can watch the video. This is what I'm talking about when I try to explain to people, right? This is what I try to explain to so people who don't understand, primarily white people, who don't understand why such frustration in it, right? He was resisting. Why are you getting this upset? Why are you getting this bothered? You don't understand that if you've seen someone who looks exactly like you being treated like a subhuman being and being murdered like cattle for food in a slaughterhouse, then you would take a little bit of personal account in it. Like Mike Brown, he looks like me. He does. I'm a little too heavy to say I look like Trayvon Martin. You know, this is a brother 17 years old, even though I look young in my years. No, I'm not, I don't look like Trayvon Martin, but I do. Alton Sterling. If you look at Alton Sterling and you put me in some gold fronts and I smile like this, then yeah, I look like Alton Sterling. And I just watched someone who looked like me get thrown to the ground, manhandled, and then shot to death. At least 6 times. At least 6 times. Let me give another example. Say you are a young woman or young adult woman, and you were molested as a young woman, and all you see are movies and shows on television and reenactments of someone who looks just like you being molested. Wouldn't that mess with your mind? Wouldn't that bring you to a level of frustration where you were, listen, you could be a cool person and kind of be calm about it, but that would drive you insane. So I do appreciate the caller calling in and telling me, you know, don't lose it, keep it together, because, you know, that I definitely needed that. But another thing that's interesting about it is I saw the video, I was upset, I was able to pray, make an encouraging video, and I talked to people today, and I was able to keep my mind off of it. I was able to take my mind away from what happened. And you know what? That's the scariest thing to me of all. Because I'm able to, even though seeing the video of someone being killed on my tablet, smartphone at my convenience, I can still sit up here and do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock shadow. If you're not familiar, get familiar. I can still do that. And that is scary to me. But what's even scarier is these officers that can sever a man's neck. And somewhere in the world right now, in Baltimore, they're sitting at home watching the news, relaxing. Right now, these two officers, even though the U.S. Justice Department is opening an investigation to the shooting, there's two officers now who are just chilling right now. Probably got a soda, sitting in an investigation room. Oh, you're comfortable? You need anything? And they are protected by the blue wall. And they are going to be, I'm glad the Justice Department is investigating it, but if it's anything like some of the other cases, we're going to rely on a district attorney whose job is to convict people that the police bring to them. So basically, the police are keeping them keeping them having a job. We're supposed to trust that they are going to vet and prosecute other police officers in an unbiased manner. It's just not realistic. It's just not. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to explain what the U.S. Justice Department is doing. We will be right back on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock shadow. If you're not familiar, please do whatever it takes to get familiar.